All right, let's dive in. Today, we're looking beyond the AI that just talks. We're going to explore what I think is the next massive shift in computing. AI that actually gets stuff done.
You remember the feeling, right? This huge rush to get generative AI into everything. We all built what are basically knowledge bots. We fed them our company wikis, every PDF we could find, the whole digital archive. And we told our teams, this is it. The revolution is here. But the results, well, they've been a little underwhelming, haven't they?
And this is the heart of the problem. We've built these incredible digital librarians that can summarize anything in seconds. But the very moment you ask them to do something, to actually perform a task, the whole illusion just shatters. We basically hit a wall. And this is what we call the passive AI trap.
So that's the big question we're digging into today. If chatbots are hitting their limits inside the enterprise, what's the next evolution? Well, the answer lies in this fundamental pivot from passive AI to active AI.
Okay, so let's really diagnose the problem here. Right now, we are swimming in passive intelligence. These are systems that can read and write beautifully, but they can't act. They're like brilliant brains in jars, totally disconnected from the hands that you actually need to, move the business forward.
You see, the architecture of these chatbots is, when you peel it back, pretty straightforward. Step 1, it ingests all your documents. Step 2, it turns all that text into math, into vectors. And Step 3, when you ask a question, it just finds the right mathematical chunks and summarizes them for you. It's an amazingly efficient read-only system. It can tell you how to process a refund, but it can't actually go and process it for you.
And this whole read-only thing leads to 4 big business failures. First, there's the last mile problem. The AI finds the answer, but a human still has to do the actual work. Then you've got the toggle tax, that exhausting constant switching between the chatbot and all your other business apps. Third is data isolation. These bots usually can't even see the live, up-to-the-second data in your databases. And finally, there's blank page paralysis. They just sit there, waiting for you to tell them what to do. They're reactive, not proactive.
So what's the solution? Well, it's a whole new way of thinking. If a chatbot is a librarian, then an action agent is like a skilled employee. It's the jump from just reading about the work to actually doing the work.
An action agent isn't defined by what it knows. It's defined by what it can do. It uses a large language model as its brain, its reasoning engine, to figure out the steps to a goal. But, and this is the crucial part, it has hands. It has the ability to connect to and use external tools and APIs to actually execute those steps in the real world.
And what's really interesting is when you put them side by side, the difference is just night and day. Look at the primary output. A knowledge bot gives you text. An action agent gives you an API call, a real database transaction. The connection is read-write, not just read-only. And the most important metric? We're not talking about time-saved searching anymore. We're talking about tasks completed.
So how do these things actually work under the hood? I mean, this isn't magic, right? It's a really sophisticated and deliberate piece of engineering that's designed specifically for autonomy.
It pretty much boils down to 3 core parts. First, you've got the brain. That's the LLM used for logic, for planning a sequence of actions. Second, you've got the hands. This is just a list of approved tools, the specific APIs the agent is allowed to use. And third, you have the memory. This gives it long-term context, so it can handle a task that takes days, not just a few seconds.
And this is where it gets even more advanced. For really complex goals, like, say, onboard a new employee, you can have a manager agent that breaks that big task down and hands off the pieces to specialized worker agents. You might have one for HR, one for IT, one for security. It's like a digital project manager running a team.
Now, this all sounds great in theory, but how does it actually translate to real business value, to tangible ROI? Let's look at a couple of real-world examples.
First up, supply chain. Here, the problem is that a human just can't watch thousands of inventory levels in real time, but an action agent can. So when the stock for a certain part drops below a set level, it can automatically check vendor prices, calculate the best order size, and draft the purchase order.
And the result is this huge jump in efficiency. A task that takes a human manager about 20 minutes of digging through systems and manually entering data is cut down to about 1 minute for a simple approval click.
That's a 95% reduction in time for just this one task. Now imagine scaling that across thousands of orders a month. You are fundamentally changing the economics of your entire supply chain.
Okay, now let's see how this works in a totally different world. real estate finance, an industry that is just drowning in paperwork. Loan officers spend hours, and I mean hours, manually sifting through hundreds of pages of documents for every single file.
An underwriting agent can completely flip this script. It reads all the PDFs, pulls out the key data points, income, assets, all that stuff, compares it all to the loan guidelines, and flags any risks. A process that takes 4 hours of manual work can be crunched down to about 15 minutes.
The result is a mind-boggling 93% reduction in review time, and that means faster closings, more consistent risk assessment, and just a massive competitive edge in a really high-friction industry.
But all this power, it brings up a pretty terrifying question for any business leader. How do we make sure these things are safe? How do we prevent a rogue agent from going off the rails and causing chaos?
This right here is the #1 fear. It's the main thing holding companies back. And the answer isn't just to build a smarter AI, it's to build stricter governance. You have to treat an AI agent like a new junior employee. You don't give them the keys to the entire kingdom on day one.
This is the critical safety net. For any action that's high stakes, the agent has to follow this simple protocol. First, it plans the action. Then, the system automatically pauses and sends a notification to a human supervisor for review. And only after that human clicks approve does the agent actually execute the task. It ensures a human always has the final say.
So as we wrap this up, it's pretty clear that this isn't just another new tool. We're really witnessing the birth of a whole new class of digital labor. And unlike human labor, which scales one by one, this digital workforce can scale almost infinitely at nearly zero extra cost.
And that leaves us with this one final thought. The era of just chatting with our data, it's coming to an end. The companies that are going to win in this next wave will be the ones who master active AI. They're going to shift their entire strategy to answer one simple question. What can my AI do for me?